Everybody squared away. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Get you guys right there. We are recording as always, just a little disclaimer. I'm going to start working on attendance here, guys. All right, so while I'm doing this, obviously we have to talk about the kind of obvious situation that we're in right now. Oops, that's not your class, guys. I started off, and I'm just kind of going to go through the list here. We started off this year by me saying we are going to face some challenges this year. And guess what? We got another one right smack dab in our face. This challenge. Now, I told you at that day one that we have a choice here. Either we allow this challenge to define us, or we define the challenge. This is the world we live in right now, and we can let it get us down, tick us off, get angry at it, get angry at each other, or we can say to hell with it. I'm going to do the best I possibly can in this situation. I can do the best possible thing because I'm going to be real with you guys. You guys are going to be the leaders someday. Leaders of industry, leaders of your homes, leaders of the world, leaders of everything. And as you guys well know, I have a little girl on the way. You guys are the ones that's going to have to make it better for my little girl. You are the ones. So I'm damned if I'm going to allow us to be defined by this challenge, instead overcome and we define this challenge. So we're going to get after it just like we normally would. We're going to have great conversations. We're going to talk. We're going to chat. We're going to laugh. We're going to joke. You can make fun of me. We're going to get it done, and hopefully in 2 weeks we're back in person for those that are back in person. But we're going to get after it. So just so you guys are aware that I'm not gonna get down by this. I'm not gonna allow it to define me in any way. So let me go ahead and kind of get everybody situated here. I'm looking through all the names here. We got Cece, we got Lucy, we got Gian, we got yeah, there's Max right there. And Will, where you at, Will? Will. Got you, Will. Trey, I got you. Michael, got you, Michael. Oh, actually, where is Michael? Michael. I don't see Michael. Okay, there might be a little issue with Michael's. Who knows?
Mr. Clever, I think right
Oh,
here.
there you are. Got you. You must have just joined, brother. Got you. Okay, Salome, I'm pretty sure I got you. There you go. Got you, Salome. Hey guys, if you hear me say your name, unmute yourself. Get used to talking into the computer. Don't be quiet. This is not a time for quiet. August, I got you, and I'm pretty sure I got Nicholas too. Actually, I don't see Nicholas. Okay. Sorry, bam. And save. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today, and dang it, you are going to be doing some talking. I'm not going to be the only one just doing talking here. The way I try to teach you folks everything that is kind of like the big stuff is I try to spread it over the years. Like eventually we're going to be doing court cases. Your goal, or what we are going to do, is we're going to be learning 15 court cases. We're going to take the entire probably semester to learn all 15 court cases, because I don't want to be at the end of the year saying, okay guys, 15 court cases, go learn them. That's going to suck. It's going to be absolutely terrible. So what we're going to do, just like in the court cases, but we also need to learn our entire, not just Bill of Rights, but all 27 amendments, okay? Don't freak out. You are not memorizing this. You don't learn anything in memorization, okay? So what you're going to be doing is we're going to take every single Monday, or the beginning of every single week, even if we don't have a Monday, we're going to learn an amendment. And we're going to do this over the next 27 weeks, okay? So we're going to learn all 27 amendments, and we're going to learn all 15 court cases. And also, I'm going to be dabbling in our foundation documents as well. So just be prepared for that, okay? It's nothing crazy. So if we learn this over the span of, a few months or a semester, then it's not going to overwhelm you like me trying to panic mode you and have you learn everything at once, because that would suck. So with that said, let's talk about our First Amendment, and you guys can hopefully see my screen here, okay? So a lot of you probably already know your First Amendment. Does anybody, just by looking at this, what that First Amendment has? Everybody take a look at it. I want you to unmute your mic when you're ready and tell me what the First Amendment is establishing. Again, we can't be shy. Go ahead and unmute that mic. Hopefully you can see that. You should be able to see everything. What is that First Amendment establishing? You don't have to give me it all. If you know one thing that First Amendment is doing, go ahead and tell me.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. Beautiful. And I don't care if you guys talk over each other. It's not a big deal. You guys talk over each other in class. It's completely fine.
Freedom of assembling.
Say it again.
Freedom of peaceful assembling.
Thank you. I wish it was freedom of peace. That would be a lot better right now. No, it's freedom of peacefully assemble. What else do you see there?
Freedom of petition.
Freedom of petition the government. We're going to talk about what that means here. Okay, what else?
Separation of government and religion.
Really? You see that there? Okay. What else do you see there? What about press? I don't know if anybody said press. If you did, I missed it. Anybody see press there?
There's after the freedom of speech, this of the press, or of the press. So the freedom
Yep,
of
the
the
press. Okay, so let's talk about those things. So as you've kind of already seen here, I get these to work. You can see that we have the 5 freedoms there. You've got to know those 5 freedoms inside and out, okay? Speech, press, religion, peacefully assemble, petition the government. If you ain't writing this stuff down, you're doing something wrong. Again, just because you might already know these things, the fact of writing them down is important. So again, I should see pencils moving. I should be heads bobbing. You know, I can't tell you guys to write things down. Like I said, even if I know these things, I'm still going to be writing them down so I know them, because there's more to the First Amendment than what you see right here. There's a lot more. So we got to know it, okay?
Thank you, man.
Hello, troublemaker. Just a student just walked in. Sit by an outlet, because you're probably going to need an outlet today, okay? All right. So we're going to get into, you know, the specifics of speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. But just to make sure everyone knows what it is, petition is the right of making a request of your government, to write to ask for a change. Okay, you have that. Okay, so basically you see there a grievance is a complaint. You guys definitely know what complaints are. You're professional complainers. Okay, you guys know what complaints is. So we need to understand those big ideas. Now, when we get into the court cases, we're going to have court cases that deal with press, that deal with religion, that deal with speech. We really don't get into cases that deal with assembly. We don't. And we really don't get into cases that deal with petition. It's really the big 3. So I'm going to talk about those right here. Peacefully assemble, okay? I think we understand what assembly means, to gather, and we understand what peace is. But do you see any controversy there? Do you see any controversy with saying peacefully assemble? And why, August, by the way, I love, you have a beautiful ceiling in your home, but I would like to see your pretty face. Thank you. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, good. Oh, there you are. There you are. Good. Much better. Much better. So come on, somebody unmute your mic. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Somebody. Solomon. Do you see controversy there with peacefully assemble?
Yeah, like if it's a group of like a lot of people, like with the protests, with the Black Lives Matter protests going on.
Exactly. Where do you see controversy with peace?
Like since they're like walking out and like stating their opinion, maybe like with the White House, like they were getting like closer to the White House and the police had to like push them back and stuff like
You're
that.
100% correct. Very good. Folks, we're going to see so much controversy when it comes to interpretation. That's where we see compromise. If I tell you, you folks, to be a good student today, a good student, your first question is what in the heck does good mean? If I tell all my soccer girls, have a good game, I'm a dumb soccer fan. I don't know what a good game is in soccer. I think you all need to score 12 goals. Now, you could have a great game as a soccer player and barely probably touch the ball. And when you do touch the ball, as I've been taught by my soccer players, girls and boys, uh, quality touches of the ball. I, as an uneducated person trying to interpret the game, would not necessarily know what a quality touch is. I don't know what a great play is in soccer. I'm learning slowly, but I don't. I'm a baseball guy. I grew up around it. I know what a quality at bat is. A quality at bat you could still get out, but it would be in a quality time at the plate. It's all interpretation. So now knowing interpretation, why does that cause peacefully to assemble? Where's the controversy there? What question do we have to ask ourselves? Come on, somebody. I don't want to start calling on random people. I want you to freely express yourselves. What question do we have to ask ourselves about these words? All right, I'm just going to call on people. All right, let's go here.
So like peaceful protest.
I think I heard it about the peaceful protest. What is peaceful?
Yeah.
What's peaceful?
So.
Well, yeah, what's peaceful? That's. Oh, hey, now we got something going on in the background now. Make sure to mute your mic after you're done, guys. What's peaceful? What's peaceful? And now that you ask yourself what's peaceful, you should immediately be thinking about this. What is speech? What's religion? What's press? What does that truly mean? If you think about it, speech is not just spoken. Is press really mean the media? Or maybe it just means the written word. And I'm not the one making this stuff up, folks. There are constitutional scholars that feel press doesn't mean the media. It means simply to write something. And religion, freedom to, what does that mean? So these are the questions that we have to ask ourselves as we progress through the year. We're not going to be able to answer this, and you'll never be expected to make interpretations of anything because that's your opinion. But this is the type of critical thinking we need. Now, there's two additional things that we need to look at within the First Amendment, and they deal with clauses. A clause is a part of a contract. We talked on on Friday about the social contract. The social contract has clauses, okay? And within the First Amendment, there are two clauses. And you see the words here. One, the Establishment Clause, okay? And two, the Free Exercise Clause. The Establishment Clause, and don't worry, I'm going to teach you what these are, and the Free Exercise Clause. Now, we're going to go into greater detail about what these mean when we get to a court case, okay? So don't freak out like, oh my God, Clapper, I'm so lost. You're fine. You're fine. The Establishment Clause deals with what the government can do with religion. The government cannot establish something, a law, a policy, whatever, that can either help or hinder the growth of religion. The government cannot establish, create, make, that's establish, something that helps the growth, or I'm sorry, hurts or hinders, or helps or hinders the growth of religion. Now, hopefully your brains are turning. You're like, holy crap, Clapper, what the hell does that mean? Yeah. I mean, what? If anybody's clever, what do, I almost gave it to you. What do churches don't pay? You said it. You said it, Isabella. I saw the mouth go. What don't they pay?
Taxes.
They don't pay taxes. Now you're thinking, wait, well, that's a violation. Every nonprofit doesn't pay taxes. If you're a nonprofit institution, you don't pay property tax. Like Montverde Academy. But then you look at some of these churches, and they're multi-million-dollar churches. I mean, maybe they should pay some taxes. Maybe they should. Okay, but we'll get into that later. We'll argue that stuff later. And then the free exercise clause. This affects what people can do. What people can do. That means you can freely exercise your religion. You can freely practice your religion as long as it doesn't interfere with someone else. Could I create a religion where I have human sacrifice? No, because that would interfere with someone else's right to be alive. Their freedoms. But what about a religion where I take hallucinogen drugs like LSD? There's open to interpretation there. It's open to interpretation. I might be able to do that. I might be able to do that. Though, we'll talk about a court case that says you can't, but there is that argument there. So all these things, the free exercise clause, the establishment clause deal with religion, and we're going to talk about all this stuff over the next months and months. So if you're like, man, this is a lot, Mr. Clapper, I told you, it's a spider web of information. It's a spider web. It's going to go everywhere, okay? All right. Just 1 second here. All right, sorry, I'm just getting messages from teachers. Everybody's, still, working their way around this. Okay. This is actually one of the longest amendments I'm going to teach you guys, the 5 freedoms and the Establishment Clause. This is actually the longest amendment. So this really won't take us this long every single day, because like Second Amendment, a lot of you already know, that's the right to bear arms. And it's not bear arms. Maybe it was, though. There's not a lot to interpretation there. For you folks to worry about. We'll talk about it next Monday. So, just to recap, so you need to know your 5 freedoms, and you need to know your 2 clauses. And again, don't freak out. We're going to be talking more about this when we get to the court cases, okay? We're going to be talking more about it, okay? So, the next thing I want to start looking at here, and let me pull it up here, is what we read about last or over the weekend, I hope, because again, I'm trusting you to read. You need to read. So go ahead, if you can, go ahead and pull up your textbook and any notes that you took for your textbook, okay? Let's see here, let me pull up my notes. There we go, there we go. There we go, and there we go. I'm just gonna pull it over so you guys can see it as well too. Scroll. Okay, so there will be many a time, many a time where Mr. Klepper disagrees with the textbook. Don't freak out about that, okay? Don't freak out about me disagreeing with the textbook, because again, there is no AP endorsed textbook, because the College Board would never do that, okay? So what we need to understand is that though you're going to read some different things, there will be some times where I disagree, just so you're aware. So one of the word that I disagree with is this politics vocab term. And I just want to briefly talk about this. It says politics determine who we select as our national leaders and what policies the leaders pursue. I disagree with that completely. That is not what politics are. Politics is simpler. Conflict resolution. That's what politics are. Conflict resolution. If we didn't have any conflicts, folks, we wouldn't need government, right? We wouldn't need government. We would just live again, but we do have conflicts, right? What are some of the conflicts that we have? Let's go here. William, sorry. William, what's some of the conflicts that you see in today's world?
The discrimination.
Oh yeah, discrimination against women, gender discrimination, minority discrimination, racial discrimination, sexual orientation discrimination, sexual identity discrimination. But there's discriminations there, okay? If people didn't discriminate against each other, we wouldn't need any laws protecting people from that, okay? What's another one? Let's see here. Michael, what's another issues that we see today, or conflicts?
Like crime.
Say it one more time.
Crime.
Crime, exactly. People committing crimes. And we saw the terrible crime, oh, maybe you guys didn't, the terrible crime that was committed out in California today, where a gentleman walked up to a police car. Go ahead and mute yourself, Michael. And shot at two, and seriously wounded, I don't know their status right now, 2 Los Angeles police officers. That's crime. So we have those types of things that we have to kind of look at to kind of, deal with. If people weren't shooting each other, we wouldn't need laws against it, okay? So that's what politics are. It's about conflict resolution. But the problems that we go with, and we'll get into political participation here in a second, okay, is this. This is the wheel of problem. This is the wheel of problem. It starts with people. I know that's a terrible thing to say, folks, but people are the source of all problems. They are, and I'm not trying to, I don't, that's not a political statement. One second. So people are the source of the problem. So what we have here is the wheel of problem, as we call it. And what moves into this is the next thing that we really need to understand, and that's what's known as linkage institutions, okay? And you've heard of these linkage institutions. So basically, this linkage institution connects the people to the government. Think of this blue as the government, okay? Now you can see here on my screen here, we have really 4 linkage institutions, okay? 4 of them. Political parties, elections, media, and interest group. Now we're going to go into greater detail later, but what you need to understand is what flows between them. Okay? Now, elections is kind of a unique thing because it's not, elections aren't made up of people. Elections is just elections, voting. But the other ones are made up of people. So when I talk about what flows between them, think of parties, media, and interest group. Okay? From the people to government, influence flows. Influence. Okay? And from the parties, media, and interest group, from the blue to the people, information flows. So from the people to the government, influence flows. And I'm going to talk about what that means. I know some of you might be like, holy crap, Clapper, I'm confused. It's okay. And from policy making, from the government, people flow, or I'm sorry, information flows to the people. Okay? All right.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure can, Bud. Sure can, Max. So, people to the government through the Lincoln's institutions, influence goes. And we're going to talk about what influence means. From the government to the people, information flows. Information flows. Info flows. Okay, and we'll talk about what that means, okay? So let's first talk about this idea of the problems that we face. Now, we talked about the four big questions that are going to drive us this year, okay? What are the problem? What's the solution? Who will carry out the solution? And who pays for the solution? Those are those four big questions that are going to drive us. What's the problem? What's the solution? Who carries out the solution? And finally, who pays for the solution? Okay, who pays for the solution? Now, we talked about this on Friday, but you guys already know that one of the biggest controversial things is what's the problem? What's the problem? Is it the police that are the problem? Or is it all the police and we need to defund the police? Or is it just a few bad eggs and the problem lies with those few bad eggs that give everybody a bad reputation? That's for you to decide. It's for you to decide. That's where the influence comes in because you are going to, and I'm pointing at my screen here, you are going to influence the government on what you feel the problem is. And that influence flows through the linkage institutions. It flows through them by you telling your party members, by you voting the way you want to vote, by influencing the media and what stories they show. Because, and we're going to talk about the media a lot, not today, but again, or joining interest groups like a BLM or like I'm trying to think, a women's association. We talk about gender equality, or a kind of an LGBTQ group. That's an interest group. That is where the influence flows in. Okay. Now, your goal as a people is to influence through the Lincoln's institutions the policy agenda, and that's where this term comes in. The policy agenda is basically what we're going to fix first. What we're going to fix first. Now, obviously, we can't fix everything at once, but we want to influence people, and that's really, you would make the argument for the protest and the attention that that people are doing throughout all the country. Is they're trying to influence the policy agenda. So those issues are fixed first by the policy makers, by the policy making institution. And that is where we get into political participation. political participation. Is that's the action of influence. So hopefully you've seen how everything fits together. Your influence that flows comes in the form of political participation, voting, the donation of money, protesting, letter writing. I know you guys even, has anybody ever wrote a letter here and put a stamp on? I mean, yeah, I see how the smile's coming up right now. You guys probably don't even know what a stamp is. Yeah, it's okay. You probably don't know what a stamp is. I think we should do a letter writing activity where you guys write a letter to your congressman or woman and have to put a stamp on it. I think that'd be classic. They probably wouldn't even accept it now. They think they got COVID or something. Like you can't lick a stamp now. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. And we're not. Damn it, we're going to do that. We're going to do a letter writing thing, and you guys are going to put stamps so you guys know it. It's going to be a handwritten letter. It's going to be glorious, I tell you. Ha-ha! Get you guys to smile a little bit here. Tell me, what else do you guys think? Unmute your mics. Tell me what else do you think is a act of political participation. I give you some of the big ones: protesting, voting, stuff like that. What else? Come on, now, don't be shy. Let's go here.
Posting on social media.
Yeah, but good
Charity.
Lord, oh my God, posting on social media. Those keyboard warriors. What'd you say, Max?
Charity.
Working for a charity, yes. Doing charitable work, yes. That can definitely be political. Definitely be political. Let's see here. Who am I talking to? I talked to August. Trey, can you think of another political participation we haven't talked about?
Buying stuff from them, like
Explain more.
Forgot the word.
It's all right. Just describe it. What about just having conversations? Have you ever spoke politics with anybody in your family or outside your family? Trey?
Not really.
Really? Okay. Well, you might want to try it and talk about politics with them and talk about issues. That's political participation. Okay. I also brought up donating, writing a check to a political party or to person, or sending money to an interest group. That's political participation. If they're active in any way, that's political. Okay, and those are all activities that people take to extend their influence. Okay, now what comes back the other way is information. Okay, and you could also make the argument information about laws. Okay, information about laws, and that's what is kind of flowing back, and we'll get into what that means. Okay, but then we get into these other things here of the wheel of problems. Okay. You see coming back to them is the policy itself. And then eventually we look at the impacts of those policy, and then we'll come back and really look at that. But did the policy even work? Was it an absolute failure? Did it have unintended consequences of this policy? And then comes right back to the people again. They might have problems with the policy, and then it just starts right back up again. Okay, and this is that wheel of problems, because if we didn't have conflict, we wouldn't need government. That's why I consider politics, because this is what politics are, is conflict resolution. That's why I don't think politics is the definition that they're giving you guys, is the idea of, go back to it here, of, let me look here, of electing people, okay, of electing people who we select as our government leaders and what policies these leaders pursue. No, it's not that. Because again, we could have politics without electing anybody. You could have a tyrannical government, a tyrannical leader. It doesn't matter. It still exists in politics. you still exist. It doesn't have to base on any of that, okay? Now, something we do need to understand is basically what the outcome of politics look like. The outcome of politics is laws, is policies. And those policies can be connected to, you know, what's known as a collective good, something that everyone can share, okay? A collective good. And we'll talk about what those collective goods, you know, look like in other places. But just so you're aware, collective goods are services that everyone can have. There's also other types of goods that we'll talk about, or services that are more based on, you know, specific groups, specific people. Obviously, if there's a policy that's written to address the issues for women, obviously that good is just enjoyed by women, or from a certain minority group or minorities in general, but that's something we'll definitely kind of look at too when we get there, okay? So, kind of a recap, okay? So we talked about the First Amendment. You need to know all 5 freedoms and the 2 clauses, establishment, free exercise. We talked about the wheel of problems. We talked about what policy is. We talked about what a policy agenda is, and that's basically the agenda, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to fix first, what people want to have fixed first. And that's why people, they don't know it. I bet I've walked down the road and probably a lot of people don't know what policy agenda is, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to attract serious attention from the government to fix these policies or fix these problems first. That's policy agenda, okay? Now, let me ask you this real quick, and we're going to talk about it later on. Whoever sets the agenda has what? Has what?
Power.
Thank you. Has power. Folks, I'm setting the agenda for this class. I have power over you. I set the agenda, so that means I have power over you. So, oh, losing my earpiece. So make sure that you're aware that setting that agenda, setting that policy agenda is a very, very powerful thing. Very, very powerful. So, only got 5 minutes left of class. Again, I'm going to try to do a better job of calling on you guys more. And you know, I imagine many of you don't feel super comfortable just unmuting your mic and talking, but we need to. This is 2 weeks, hopefully 2 weeks, but we need to become as comfortable as we possibly can. Okay, and then before you know it, your lovely faces will be in front of me. So what I want you guys to do tonight, okay, there's going to be a couple bits of homework. First of which, and this is something I'm really going to stress this year, go back and review what we talked about today. Go back and review what we discussed. Now, did we talk about all this other stuff in section 113? No, we did not. Will we? Of course we will. Review it. Take 5 minutes. Just look over it. And if you have questions, that's what we're going to start with tomorrow. Is any questions on what we've already discussed, okay? Next bit of homework, okay, don't freak out, is you're going to read 1.4 and 1.5, okay? Nothing to it. 1.4 is a little long and 1.5 is like a page, okay? 1.4 is a little longer. We're going to read it, okay? And you can see 1.5 is very, very short. It's like 2 pages. So we're going to read 1.4, 1.5. And then you're not going to be, don't freak out. You're going to be expected to join our AP Classroom course. Now, it's very important that you do this because this is also part of the action of you registering for the AP test. You're not going to do anything inside of it, but I'm going to post instructions on how to register for the class. Okay? So you're going to have to like go in. Most of you will have an account already and join the class. Easy peasy. I'm not going to do anything else, but I'll post those instructions after 4 o'clock or after 4th period today. So 3 things. Review what we talked about today. Come up with any questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions because think about this. That question could be the difference between a 5 and a 4. That could be. It could be a difference of 5 and a 4. If you ask that question now, or better yet, it could be a 5 and a 4 for somebody else. 2, read and take good notes. I'm not going to expect to see them. good notes on 1-4 and 1-5 and join the AP classroom. And I'll post an announcement how to do that, all that jazz. Any questions? All right. If you don't have any questions, you're free to go as long as you say goodbye. Unmute yourself. We're still doing that. We're still doing the goodbye thing. You don't have to clean your desk when you leave, but you got to say goodbye. I'll see you folks later.
Bye, Mr. Clapper.
Goodbye.
Bye, Mr. Clapper.
Goodbye, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Pepper.
Bye, Mr.
Very,
Clapper.
very welcome. Goodbye, goodbye.